Nimrod, like a teacher, like a man in limud. What is this first thing you think in the morning when you have to go to work to teach kids or to give a lesson?
I think the first thing is the caring, the love, or what we call pedagogic errors. That is to encounter the children and to get in touch with them with a kind of dialogue that would make them both happy and grow. And the well-being of the child is the most important thing. Only after that, I may think about character, about ideas, about philosophy, about citizenship, all the rest. But the first and foremost, I think about the well-being. I want to see a good smile, I want to see the child standing erect, I want children who have inner faith in themselves, they trust themselves to be competent individuals, they can live well in the world. After that, we can achieve a lot.
You said, I hear you, that you have to be proud. You have to be proud and with the achievement to do these things like a teacher. How to be that? Many teachers feel that there is only a job, or how to be proud, how do you get to that?
Don't you mind the noise?
That's all right. We're saying, how do you feel?
Yeah, to make understand. Good teachers are not only teachers. They are not just job holders. They are educators. Good teachers, as educators, are people who choose it as a way of life. It is not just to be a taxi driver or a high-tech person. To be an educator means that you choose it as your way of life, and I want it to be the self-realization of the teacher. Like, this is my way of life. So we do not need teachers who just consider it as a job. I go, I get a salary, I do my job, I get this, I get that. Hopefully we get idealist teachers. Because to be a teacher, you must be an idealist, because you also have to fight many establishments. Sometimes you have to fight against the propaganda of the politicians, the commercials on TV, and many other things, powers that want to steal the soul and the mind of the children, so they would be useful for politics, for economy, for business, but I want to stand next to the child and to consider the well-being of the child as the main only end, the aim, and not something else. For me, a child is not something to be used, but to be empowered.
Childs in Israel are different from childs in Mexico, and they are different from childs in a Jewish school. Is there any difference in the education you have to give, or the way you have to teach in Israel or in a Jewish school in the diaspora, in Mexico, for example?
Well, of course there are differences, but in the same way that medical doctors all over the world can treat people from Iran, Israel, USSR, and the United States and Mexico, I think that educators, especially if they're humanists, they first and foremost think of the child as a human being. First, before you are Jewish, Mexican, Israeli, or Iranian. Other than that, you cannot teach if you don't know the background, the cultural background, if you don't know the personal background. So, of course, with each child it is different, but the aims are more or less the same.
What can you say you can teach or learn or explain to the people, to get to the people from Mexico, because you were yesterday in a seminar for Mexican teachers that you learn in Israel, or you can get from Israel to the Mexican teachers so they can apply it in our schools in Mexico. And I'm not just speaking about Jewish schools, I'm speaking about all Mexican schools, that's one of the things you were yesterday talking about.
Okay, first I want to give compliments to what I saw. I saw Bet Sefer Tarbut.
Yes.
I was there for 3-4 hours twice,
yes.
And I was very, very impressed in the different ways in which you are up to date. On the one hand, it's technology, multidisciplinary, yoga, Reggio Emilia, the forest, ecology, sustainability. Yes. I was very, very impressed. So, from my point of view, you are really, really doing well. Secondly, I saw that the community here is very supportive of everybody. So in that sense. One thing that I also spoke about in my lecture, that before we teach one thing, one discipline or another, I think that in good education we should always think of three different goods and to find how to synchronize them. The first is the personal goodness of the child, to feel good, to be happy. The second one is the goodness of high quality. Education is not entertainment. Education is a challenging experience. So we need excellence, we need high quality with language, with basketball, with guitar playing, with dance, with mathematics. We should aim towards high quality, the goodness of high quality. And the third one is the most important one, which also we find in Sefer Bereshit. It's the goodness of moral goodness. Dat, Tov, Vera, which is most important nowadays, to distinguish between good and evil, justice and injustice. Without that, it's really not worth it, the whole thing.
Today the kids are very different from what they were when you were a kid or when I was a kid. Today kids, they have a tablet, they have a phone, they have a computer, they have Google, they have Safari, they have everything there. And you're talking about three things that they can find or not to find in their tablets.
They cannot find it.
Exactly.
Exactly. So what we have to say nowadays, that in each era there are different factors that threaten the well-being of the children. Nowadays, children are too much in the social networks of the internet. But you cannot do without it because this is a technology. So what schools should do nowadays is also to create the spaces without the computers, for looking in the eyes, for dialogue, for empathy, for quietness, for good health. Yes, education have a different role nowadays, but all in all, and you know, I can quote things from the Bible, from Plato, from Buddha, from Confucius. The wisdom of humanity has not changed dramatically. But in each time, you have to find what is it that we have to give strength. Nowadays, it is to become much more philosophical. The children do everything now very fast. We have to teach them now how to do things very slow.
All right.
Very slow.
Yes.
To read, not only to saw Twitter or YouTube for a minute and a half, but also to be able to watch a Shakespeare drama for an hour and a half. This is how you create a soul. This is how you create a mind. This is how you create the muscles of the mind and the heart.